Alright guys, what's up? It is Mike Barkoff here with another episode of Twisted Tracklist. Today I am doing Kamikaze. This is one of my favorite albums of 2018. I think that Eminem did a really good job. Obviously the album was in response to the criticism towards Revival, primarily. I liked Revival, I did. I definitely don't think it was one of his best projects, but I do not think it was one of his worst, as a lot of people were saying. So I think that he got a lot of hate for Revival, especially in the wrong areas, and I know that one of the big criticisms that I've heard, not just from friends or family or peers, but also even celebrities like Machine Gun Kelly, not Machine Gun Kelly, Tyler, the Creator. I was saying Machine Gun Kelly because of the whole argument that they got into, obviously, but from Tyler, the Creator, is that this album doesn't really follow themes. So I made my own version of the Kamikaze track list, and I called it Kamikaze by Themes. I don't even need my phone to look and see what the track list was because it's a very short album, and I love this album so much that I've heard it numerous times. I know a lot of the words to a lot of the songs. I love, there's a lot of the songs on here that at the time that it came out, I was just like, God damn, like Eminem blew everyone out of the water. And this is actually a rare case of an album that has one of my favorite songs on it, that when it came out I was like, that's one of my favorite songs, like, of all time. It's a very rare case. So without further ado, I'm going to begin discussing Kamikaze by Themes. So to start off with, I kept the first three songs the same. The Ringer, Greatest, and Lucky You. Essentially what I did was I took all the songs where he's replying to criticism or people that have shit-talked his work or his behavior, and I edited them together because it's obviously by themes. So I go from The Ringer to Greatest to Lucky You to Not Alike to Kamikaze to Fall. That's 6 songs in a row. Where he is responding to either people that have made him super mad, people that have criticized his past albums or his past behavior, or just letting out the anger that is on his brain at the time. And I think that's important because I think a lot of people, they didn't like the fact that there was that big essence of anger on the album, but it wasn't all in one go. I feel like a lot of people were confused because you go from Lucky You to the Paul skit to Normal to M Calls Paul, and you're kind of off on this different trail for a little bit where he's not really replying to anyone in anger, at least not in incidents that we know of. So those 6 songs are all him replying to public incidents that he has, been a part of, that a lot of people know about, or if they don't know about, they could Google it and find out about it. So that's why I put those 6 songs in a row. After that, I went to the Paul skit, to to the Paul skit, to Normal, to M Calls Paul, and then I jumped from and then I went to Nice Guy and Good Guy. So with those 3 songs, 2 skits, you have Eminem discussing a relationship. And I don't know if it's a real relationship. Eminem has been known to fictionally discuss relationships in the past, but it is him discussing a relationship of some sort. And with that, once again, it kind of fits into a theme. So you go from him replying to the critics or anyone that has made him mad to talking about a girl and a relationship. You start with Normal, where he kind of brings up these themes of him and his partner not trusting each other. And then you go to M Calls Paul, which also I want to add in there. It's nice that Paul starts after Fall, because at the beginning of Paul, the skit, Paul's literally like, hey, Em, is that all this album's going to be about? Is just you replying to people that are making you mad? And Eminem's, and we don't hear Eminem until after Normal, which is the song that occurs after Paul. I'm screwing this all up, I'm sorry. But in M Calls Paul, M is calling Paul back, and he's like, no, that's not what this album's all about. I'm not just replying to people that hate me, or, replying to people that have said shit about me. And then we go to Nice Guy and Good Guy, which kind of like further cements that tone, where he's literally not just replying to people that are criticizing him. Because in Nice Guy and Good Guy, he's continuing the themes from Normal, even if it's not about the same person. He is to an extent, to a degree. With Nice Guy, you have him and Jessie Reyes, I think that's how you pronounce her name, and she's also a good guy. You have them kind of going back and forth about this relationship where there's, once again, cheating is being brought up, a little bit of violence, all that, and you know, it's kind of a nice epilogue to normal. And then after Good Guy, I threw in Stepping Stone, and then I threw in Venom. And the reason I decided to put those two next to each other is because I feel like those both kind of solidify the point that he's at with his career. With Stepping Stone, he's saying that he's done with anyone holding him back. Not in a disrespectful way towards D12, but it is the truth. And then with Venom, he's talking about everything that he has achieved thus far, and he's practically saying that no matter how much he falls, he still has a lot of people believing in him, just like myself. You know, I have seen Eminem in my own, you know, experience time of listening to Eminem. I've experienced him drop albums, and you know, I've there's been many where I've listened to it and I'm like, what was he doing the first time I heard it through? Like a good example, the Marshall Mathers LP2, which is actually my favorite album of all time. When I first heard that album, when Eminem first dropped that album and I first listened to that album, I was like, what the hell? Like, what is Eminem doing? But now I love that album, and it's my favorite album of all time. And I think it was just because I hadn't really lived a lot of the same experiences that he had to a degree. You know, I kind of was, you know, I was only 13 when he dropped, and now I'm 19, so I've had a chance to kind of mature my mindset and shit. So I think I kind of grew with the times, and I grew as a person, and I could kind of understand what he was saying, because I had been through more shit, and I had seen more shit, and I had kind of changed my mindset, and it's like, damn, I get what he's saying now, you know. And that's what I'm saying. Like, Venom, I feel like, is just his way of saying, no matter how much people might think that he falls with every revival or encore or relapse, he hasn't actually fallen, because he can come right back out and he can make something incredible, and he can just spin people back in his direction, reel them all in, just like he's done numerous times before, and he can succeed. And that's why I love Kamikaze, and I feel like that's why I love Kamikaze, the regular track list, because I think it kind of shows that he literally does not give a fuck, because he doesn't, you know, he doesn't care about the themes matching up. He doesn't care, because he knows at the end of the day that he's still going to have a lot of people, you know, listening to him, like listening to what he has to say and always having faith in him. To me, that's what is best about the Kamikaze track list, is that it's all over the place, because he literally just does not care. But to a lot of people, they just didn't, I feel like they just didn't quite get that. So in my attempt to fix that, so I can make Tyler the Creator happy, and some of my friends happy, and some of my family happy, and some of my peers happy, I took it upon myself to edit the new track list, which I have just said to you, which is entitled Kamikaze by Themes. That's basically all there is with this album. It's nothing grand. It's literally just edited by themes. But I really do suggest that you give Kamikaze a listen. It is my favorite album of 2018. It is in my top 5 favorite albums of Eminem's discography. I do think that it is a great album, and I do think that it was not necessarily looked over, because it was popular, but I do think that a lot of people kind of misinterpreted a lot that he said on the album. So I hope that either by my playlist or me explaining kind of my cause and thoughts behind the actual track list, I do hope that you guys can give it another listen, or maybe even just put the first listen into consideration with what I've said, and maybe you can like the album a bit more. And that's all with this one. Have a great day, guys.